Good evening, Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are you guys? So first of all, I welcome you all to day 2 of this JavaScript Essentials. Yesterday we covered a lot of things, right? We covered what exactly JavaScript is. We talked about it. We understood where JavaScript works. We also talked about a little bit about the history of JS, right? We understood why it was developed, then how it evolved in 2009, and now it is at which stage. Then we also saw how to create your first JavaScript program, right? By you into the browser on a HTML page. We understood why we need an HTML page to run JavaScript initially, but we can also run our JavaScript without it, right? We know that because nowadays we have Node.js, but we are not going to talk about that a lot in this session because our primary focus is basically to learn a lot of JavaScript here, the basics, the fundamentals, and then we'll progress to DOM manipulation. Right? I'm good, Uttam, I'm good. I hope all of you are really good. We are also providing notes. So whatever I'm teaching in the next 5 days, okay, all that things are mentioned in this notes as it is, and much more than that. It is a really beautiful documentation that we have done for the JavaScript essentials. So you can always go on, you can, check out everything. How does JavaScript work? How do browsers execute JavaScript? So whatever I'm unable to cover in the 5 days of session, that is also mentioned here. Some extra functionalities, everything. So if you want to learn more, you can also go on this document and, learn everything. So I'll try to cover everything that is mentioned in here in the live session. But if at all I miss something, everything will be mentioned here. Okay. So guys, and we have also prepared some interview questions for you, which are mentioned in this tab. Just click on this and you can see all the interview questions related to all the topics is mentioned here so that you can also prepare for your jobs and all that, right? So guys, the best part is, if you can read this documentation properly, if you just learn from this documentation, you'll be knowing more than enough to also pass some interviews related to JavaScript. Okay. So now guys, let's go ahead and let's start with today's session because we have a lot of things to cover. Yesterday, we just saw, our first how to create a JavaScript program, right? And then we saw how to integrate your JavaScript in HTML. We have talked about that, right? By default, JavaScript's running environment is the browser. That's why we always need a HTML page if we want to write and run JavaScript. But because of Node.js, now we no longer need that. But right now, our main focus is not Node.js. That's why we are going with the previous way, which is working inside the HTML document, because we are learning JavaScript for web development as of now. And that's why we have to go with the HTML page. Okay. And yesterday we also saw, right, how to print stuff, how to create variables, how to change variables, what are types, what are literals. And we also talked about console.log, and we also talked about template literals. Now today, guys, our most of the focus will be on variables. Okay, a little more about variables. Then we'll talk about strings, we'll talk about conversions, operators, and after that, our main focus will be on conditional statements. So that is our primary goal for today's session. I hope that every one of you is excited. So please let me know that in the chat, guys. Are you excited for today's session, everyone? Because we have a lot of things to cover, a lot of programming fundamentals to cover. So I really hope you're excited. Now, guys, before we move on directly to the next topics, I would also like to teach you a few more things. Okay, one extra thing. Okay, before we move ahead with anything else. So guys, see, yesterday we learned that in our HTML, okay, we can write our JavaScript in the same page as HTML page. Okay, just go below, go down. After completing all your HTML tags, you can just go down here, put a script, and you can start writing your JavaScript. Okay, now this way of writing JavaScript inside the HTML page is what we call as internal JavaScript, and it's good, it's nice. But sometimes when you're working on a real web application, your HTML code, see right now here, my HTML code is only of 2 lines, right? But in future, it can be 200 lines, 300 lines. And in the same case, my JavaScript can also be 300-400 lines. So in that case, guys, the page will become very big, heavy in size, and also the code will be very tricky to maintain because I always have to go up and down, continuously to manage my code. That's why, guys, it's always better to write your JavaScript code separately and your HTML code separately. They will be still connected because without HTML, JavaScript can't run on the browser, right? So they will be still connected, but we don't have to write our scripting logic or JavaScript in the same page as where we are writing HTML. Okay, so let's see how to do that. So guys, for that now I'm teaching you how to write your JavaScript somewhere else rather than writing in your HTML page only. So what you can do, you can go ahead in the same folder or anywhere. I would suggest you to in the same folder, but you can do it anywhere. But it will be always better if you do it in the same folder or same area where your HTML file is, so that it can be compiled as a project at the end. So now what we can do is we can go ahead, create a new file in the same folder, call it anything, whatever you want. So let's say I call it as script. Now the extension of this file should be .js. It's very important. By this only, the editor and the browser will know that, okay, yeah, this is the JS file. Now guys, see, it is not a HTML file, it's a JS file. That means this file is completely dedicated for JS. We are not going to write any HTML here. Think of this file as the scripting area. So whatever you can write in the scripting area between script and /script, okay, whatever you can write in that area, you can also write in this page. You don't need that script tags here because this page itself tells you I am a JS page. You can write JS in here. So now guys, you can completely write JS here. Now let's go ahead and let's remove the scripting from our page. We no longer need it here. So let's just simply go and remove it. Now we don't have it. Okay. Now if I write some code here, console.log, let's say, I am something like, external JS. Now let's see, let's save it and let's see if our HTML page is able to produce this JavaScript output. Because guys, see, it's inside the browser. So you have to run your HTML page only. You're not going to run your JS page. Okay, so let's see if it is working as of now. So if I now go in my browser and if I refresh my page, see, it's not working. I can't see that output. It's because initially our script was written inside the HTML page. So HTML page was able to identify that, oh, this is my JavaScript. That's nice. But now our JavaScript is written somewhere else and my HTML is somewhere else. So they don't know each other. HTML page doesn't know that this is my JavaScript. So guys, for that thing to happen, you have to connect both the pages, both the files. So how to do it? Again, same thing. Just below your HTML at the end, use the script tag again. Okay. And then now you're not going to add JavaScript in here, guys. No JavaScript. You're only going to be using it for linking the other page. So now let's go. In your script tag, there's an attribute called as src. So in the opening script tag, just put src and then /. // means the current folder. That means in the current folder, in whatever folder my HTML file is, in the same folder, I have one more file called as script.js. Link it to me. So now guys, you have linked your HTML page to the script.js JavaScript file, which is nothing but this file. So now they know each other, and now this script, whatever you're writing in here, will work with this HTML page. It is exactly similar to writing script, but the best part is your JavaScript is in a separate page and your code will be very easier to maintain. And this, guys, is what we call as external JavaScript. When you write JavaScript in some other page rather than writing it in the HTML file. So now, guys, if you just go ahead and check, let's go. You can see that start working now. See, it's working. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead, everyone. So now we'll be writing all our JS in here. So guys, let's move ahead with the next topics. Okay. So the next topic that we are starting with right now is going to be the topic of operators. Okay. One of the most important things to learn in JavaScript. And guys, for everyone who is new, right now we are learning the programming fundamentals of JavaScript. So we are not using JavaScript to create divs as of now. But maybe by tomorrow, I'll be teaching you how to create HTML using JavaScript. That means without writing your HTML like a tag, we will be using JavaScript to write HTML and generate HTML using a loop, using conditions. So that will be amazing. So don't worry, guys. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead. And today's topic, the first topic that we are focusing on is operators. Now, guys, see, since JavaScript is a programming language, that means you will be doing a lot of calculations here. You'll be writing a lot of, computations. You'll be doing a lot of computations, calculations like plus, minus, multiply, division. So guys, yesterday we talked about this, right? As a programming language, it is going to be heavily working on data. Like digitally in this whole world, we work with data a lot. So in our programming language also, we are going to be working with data a lot, right? That's why we learned about variables, where we can store data and use data. Yesterday we talked about variables, right? Why do we need variables? So that we can store data and use them, right? That's why we learned variables. Now, what if you want to perform operations on data? Like you want to calculate, you want to compute, you want to do some operations. For that concept, guys, we have something called as operators. And there are a lot of operators in JavaScript. But based on what they do, based on what kind of operation they perform, they are divided into separate categories. Okay. So if I have to mention the categories, the first category that comes here is what you call as binary operators. Okay. You have something called as binary operators. Now inside binary operator category also there are tons of operators. So again, based on what they do, they are again divided into some more categories. But first of all, guys, before we move ahead, I would like to tell you what exactly is the meaning of binary operator. Binary means, see guys, bi means 2. So binary means 2 numbers or 2 something. So binary operators are the operators which always work on 2 operands. So first of all, guys, let me show you how an operation looks like. So if I do 2 plus 2, this can be considered as an operation. If I do 2 minus 2, this can also be considered as an operation. So guys, this is an operation. Okay. And see, so this whole thing is considered as operation. This 2 and 2, the data that you're using, they are considered as operands. Okay. So remember guys, there are 3 main components in any operation. First, the operation itself, whatever you're performing. Second, the operands, okay, on which you're performing the operation. And third, you have operators. Okay guys, so there are 3 things which will be always there in the operation. Operation itself, okay, operands on which you're performing the operation, and operators which are helping you to perform the operation. So guys, in this case, this whole thing is an operation, 2 plus 2, addition. This 2 and this 2, or let's say this is 3. So this 2 and 3, they are the data on which the operation is getting performed. That's why they are considered as operands. And this plus here is considered as operator. So guys, I hope you're understanding this point, everyone. Okay. So this 2 and this 3 are operands. This plus is an operator. And this whole thing is an operation which will give you some kind of result. Like 2 plus 3 will be 5. Right. So I hope you understood, guys. So you have something called as binary operator category. That means the operators which will always work on 2 operands. Always. Like plus, it can be considered as a binary operator because it's having 2 operands. It always works with 2 things. Okay. And then you have one more category which you call as unary operators, which only work with 1 operand. That means there is only one, like 2 or 3, something like that. Only 1 operand. And then you also have ternary operators. So guys, these are the 3 main categories. You have ternary operators which work with 3 operands. Okay, simple name. Binary, by 2, unary, 1, ternary, 3. So guys, they are named depending on how many operands they use. Now, in the binary operator category, there are a lot of operators again, and again they are divided into many more categories. So the first category that we're going to be seeing here is what we call as arithmetic. And again, guys, don't mind my spellings. I'm very bad at remembering spellings. So even if I'm doing a spelling mistake in these names, don't mind that. Okay, so the first category that comes under binary operators is arithmetic operators, which are basically used for basic mathematical calculations. The examples are plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulus. And if you want to learn more about this, guys, in the notes you can go and find the whole description. Okay, don't worry. If at all you want to, dig deep in this. But again, let's go and let's understand all this one by one quickly. I hope they are quite easy to understand, but again, we'll still cover all of them. Okay, so guys, for basic mathematical calculations, whatever operators you have, they come under the category of arithmetic operators. Okay, now let's go and let's test it. And again, guys, to test it, we need data, and to use data, we can also directly use it, but I would suggest you to store them in variables. So let's go. Let's create a variable called as num1, in which I'll store as 34. And I'll create one more variable called as num2, in which I'll store 56, something like this. Okay, so I have 2 variables now, 2 data, because I'm going to be using arithmetic operators and they come under binary category. That means they need 2 operands. That's why 2 data, 2 operands. Now guys, let's go and let's perform the calculation. Okay, and I'll be directly performing the calculation inside the console.log. Or if you want, you can also perform the operation, and whatever that operation is giving you back, you can store it in a variable. Let me show you both the ways. So first, let's perform the normal plus. So I'll go here and I'll just do num1 plus num2. And now you'll see if I save it and run it, guys, in the browser, you can see we get 90. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you're understanding. Okay, simple plus operation. If I do minus here, It is num1. That means 34 minus 56. Now we know, right? Basic mathematics. If I subtract a bigger number by a smaller number, our result should be in minus, right? But it is minus. At the end, we are getting our subtraction result. You can see minus 22, right? And the same place, we can also perform multiplication, which will give you, okay, now I know it, they are big numbers. So even if you want to calculate in your mind, it will basically, make it tricky to understand. So let's make them smaller so that, we can understand it better way. So 2 and 5. That means 2 multiplied by 5, which will be 10. So 2 multiplied by 5 gives me 10. Okay. But guys, from now on, I would suggest you to always go for let if you want to create a normal variable, and always go for const if you want to create constant variables, which are not going to change. Stop using var. I would suggest you to stop using var from now on. Okay. So guys, yeah, I hope you have understood now, everyone. Okay, let's go. Okay. So guys, what I was trying to say is, I hope you have understood the plus operator. Now, I'll just clear it again, that if I write something like this, num1 plus num2 plus, let's say, some more number, is it still binary? So yes, guys, it is still binary, because this plus is only using 2 operands. See, for this plus, this is the operation. For this plus, this is the operation. So they are still binary. Don't consider this whole thing. Just think of this operator. This operator is using 1, 2 operands. This operator is using 1, 2 operands. Even if you do this, for example, let's say if you do this, num1 plus, I think someone also mentioned it like this, right? Num2 plus 45. So in this case also, guys, num1 plus this whole thing. So this plus is again having 2 operands only. So guys, every time it's always going to be binary. Okay. So guys, I hope everyone is cleared. Are we cleared with the guys, just to confirm so that we can move ahead? Okay. So now guys, let's move ahead, everyone. Let's move ahead, and let me also show you minus. I think you saw minus. So now let me also, it was just to solve your doubt. Now let's simply go ahead and let's perform the basic. Okay, and let me just make the number normal like this, 2 and 4. So now if I just do multiplication, you will see you get the output for multiplication. Okay, so let's go. And you can see now you get 8 because, and let me also zoom it, guys, a little bit so they can see it. Okay, you can see, right? It's 8. Okay. So, and same, guys, you have something called a slash, which is basically used for division. So if I do num1 slash num2, that is 2 divided by 8. Sorry, 8 divided by 2. So if you just go here and check it out, you'll get 0.5. Back, actually, you're doing 2 divided by 8. Sorry, 2 divided by 4. Okay. Now, if you write num2 divided by num1, you'll understand. Now you're doing 4 divided by 2. That will be 2, right? Hopefully. Yes, 2. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, guys, let's move ahead. And finally, guys, see. So this was division. Now you also have this operator called as modulus, which is also division, but this gives you remainder. See, guys, this slash and modulo both are used for division, but slash gives you the quotient and modulus gives you the remainder. So in this case now, guys, if you go ahead and check it out, see, you're getting 0 because remainder of 4 divided by 2 will be 0. Try one thing, give it 5 here. Now 2 2s are 4. So now at the end remainder will be 1, and let's check it, and here we go, 1. So guys, I hope you've understood that slash and modulo are both for division, but one gives you quotient and another one gives you remainder. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead. So I hope the arithmetic operators are clear to you guys, everyone. Hopefully. Can you please confirm, guys? Now then we can move on to the next category of the operators, which is going to be something called as relational. One of the most important operators, guys. Relational operators. Okay. So now, guys, what exactly is relational operators? So relational operators in programming or in JavaScript are basically used to compare data. Okay. They are basically used to compare data like this. You want to check if one number is greater than another number. You want to check if one number is smaller than another number, or it is equal to the same, or it is as same as the other number. So whenever you want to perform comparison of data, in that case, you're always going to be using relational operators. So the examples of relational operator are greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and not equal to. These are the examples of relational operators. And guys, they also come under binary category. Why? Because they also work with 2 operands. let me show you. And guys, one more thing, remember that the output of relational operators will be always Boolean. That means it will be either true if the comparison is correct or false if the comparison is incorrect. That means the output of relational operators will be always either true or false. And true or false, guys, that data or that type is considered as Boolean. In programming, they are called as Booleans, true and false. Okay, they are not numbers, they are not strings. They are Booleans, everyone, remember that. Okay, so the output of relational operator will be always either true or false because you're comparing. So either the comparison is successful or it is unsuccessful, simple. So either true or false. Okay, let's check it. So if I go ahead now, console.log, and if I just go ahead and do num1 greater than num2, see again, we have two operands. Now guys, in this case, check, num1 is 2 and num2 is 5. So I'm check if 2 greater than 5. So this whole operation will give me back what? False, because 2 is not greater than 5 and I'm writing 2 greater than 5. So let's check it now. If I check it, see, we get false. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you're understanding that. And same thing, if I go ahead and do the reverse, num1 less than num2. Now we know, right? 2 is less than 5. So in this case, we should get true. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you're understanding that. And just like that, we also have, if I just go ahead, you have something called as, let's say we put greater than or equal to. Now this means the comparison is either num1 should be greater than num2 or it should be equal to num2. Both of them are fine. So for example, if I make both of them 2, so now if I check, see, it gives you true. Why true? Because num1 greater than num2. That's not true, but you also have equal to. So just check if num1 is greater than or equal to. Anything is fine. So it is not greater than, but it is equal to. That's why this operation gives you true. Is that clear, everyone? So that's what this less than, greater than are. They are very simple to understand. Now, if you only want to check that if both of the numbers are equal or not, then you have this operation, equal to equal to. So if you just go ahead and put equal to, in this case, you'll get true. Because yes, num1 and num2 both are equal. But if I just make, num2 as 3, you'll see that, guys, now it's false. Okay, so don't forget that. Okay, and just like that, you have not equal to. That means just check if num1 is not equal to num2. And yes, in this case, it's correct. 2 is not equal to 3. That's correct. So if I check it now, you will see we get true. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you're understanding. Guys, I really hope you're understanding this. Now see, guys, everyone. Now in JavaScript, if I perform normal equality operation, let's say equal to num2. And let's say, instead of putting num2 as number 3, let's put it as string 3. Something like this. Now see, guys, we have written it like a number, but we know that it's a string. Now in other programming languages, this comparison is not possible. Comparing a number with a string. You can see, right? Num1 is a number and num2 is a string. So in other languages, the comparison of this is not possible. But in JavaScript, you'll see what will happen now. Let's make it 2 here to, get the proper output. Let's make it 2. So now I can see one is number 2 and one is a string, which looks like 2. Okay. It's not a number, but if you still see, the output will be true. So how is it happening? Because how is JavaScript comparing a number and a string? So guys, this is possible because in JavaScript, there's a concept of type coercion. I just, fumble in the pronunciation of that, but it's coercion or coercion, something like that. So what happens is in an operation, what JavaScript is doing is it is converting this string 2 into number 2. That's what's happening here, guys. Is that clear, everyone? So when JavaScript finds out, oh, it is actually a 2, it looks like a 2. So it's converting this string 2 into number 2 for this operation. And that is what we call as type coercion, guys. Everyone, I hope you understand that. And JavaScript does it by default. Okay, so that's why it's possible to compare something like this in JavaScript. And not only with comparison, guys, it also happens with plus. If I have to show you, see this. Not with plus, actually, it doesn't happen with plus. So see, if I just go ahead and do console.log, and if I do, let's say, guys, guys, please focus, everyone. Please focus, guys. See, and it does some things like that as well with some other operators. See, guys, in this case, if I just go ahead and do num1 num1 plus num2. Now you can see I'm performing the addition of 2 plus a string 2. Now see what will happen, guys. See what will happen. If I do this, see, it gives me 22. It's not actually 22. It's 2 and 2. It's 2 and then 2. But according to addition, it should have been 4, but it's not happening. So now, guys, what's happening, when JavaScript sees that you're trying to add a string and a number, it converts the number to the string internally. That's again coercion. So depending on the operation, it is doing that. In this, it is converting a string into number. Right? In the equality operation, it is converting string into number. But in addition, it is converting the number into string. That's what happens, guys. But it doesn't do it with minus. If I do it minus, see what will happen now. If I go ahead and do minus, for example, num1 minus num2. Now see what will happen. See, we get 0. Now it's properly performing mathematical operation. So guys, for minus, it is converting the string into number. That means for everything else, for minus, multiplication, divide and modulus, it will always convert string into number. Okay, but for addition, it will convert the number into string. Okay, and same here. In this case also, it's converting string into number for comparison. So this is what we call as type coercion, guys. Remember that. And guys, why for addition it's not doing that? Because in the addition case, guys, you know what happens? JavaScript also uses plus for concatenation. So it never wants to, hamper that. That's why for plus, it doesn't do the, it does the coercion in the opposite way. It's convert the number into string. Is that clear, everyone? Hopefully, you have understood the idea. Okay. So for all these operations, minus, multiplication, divide and modulus, and for all the relational operations, strings are converted to numbers. But for plus, it doesn't happen. In that case, number is converted to string because plus is also used for concatenation. Just remember that. That's all. Nothing else. Okay. If you write a letter, it will still be converted. See, now for example, okay, let me show you. Instead of 2, if I have 34, or let's not 34, let's say THER, something like that, there. Now if I do it, you'll see that yes, your 2 is converted to a string and you will see something like 2 there. See that? But now if you do minus, let's try minus here. Okay, let's try minus. And let's see what happens. You'll see nan, because I'm unable to minus. I'm trying to subtract them, but num1 minus num2 gives me nothing. It is giving me something else which is not a number. So guys, nan means not a number. So whenever JavaScript figures out that what you're trying to do, so it's understanding that num1 minus num2 is not possible because num2 is not a number. It tried to convert there into number. It tried the type coercion, but it was unable to convert there to a number. And it gives you something like nan. What you're trying to subtract is not a number. So if it figures out that inside the string you have 2 or 3, if it is able to coercion, then it's fine. But if it is unable to do that, it will give you this nan, not a number. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, I hope you understand the concept. Guys, again, you don't have to focus too much on this. If you just specify your data properly, you don't have to worry about this. But I just wanted you guys to know. I just wanted you guys to know this. Okay, what is exactly type coercion? Because it is one of the important interview questions. I have seen a lot of people, whenever someone asks them what is type coercion, they're always confused because they have never heard of it. They have heard of type conversion, but not type coercion. Okay, so guys, this is what JavaScript does implicitly, internally. Depending on certain operations, it converts number to strings and strings to number. Okay, let's move ahead, everyone. Let's move ahead. Guys, all cleared, everyone? Please, can I get some yes or something in the chat? If at all it is cleared. Okay, now then guys, let's move ahead with the other operators. So guys, I hope relational operators are cleared. Now, guys, see, because in JavaScript, this is an issue. Okay, now guys, please focus, everyone. Because in JavaScript, there is an issue that when you perform the equality operation, it is easily, or when you perform relational operations, it is easily converting this number, this string to a number. And if at all you don't want this, because here there is no type safety, right? So if you want type safety, that no, only if it is a number, then compare. Here type coercion is happening, string is getting converted to number, but no, you want to force JavaScript that only if it is number, then only you should compare. So guys, instead of using double equal to, you can use something called as triple equal to. So now if I use double equal to, you will see what happens. It gives me true because the string is getting converted to number. But if I put triple equal to, now it will check that no. If it was a string, don't even compare that. And now I'll get false. That means now only if both are numbers or both are strings, then only compare. That means now it's following the rules of real programming languages. That no, only if both are numbers, then it should be allowed. So now guys, if I check it now, you'll see. So here we go, true now. So that's why guys, in JavaScript, you have triple equal to and not double equal to, so that you don't have to worry about types, so that you're forcing that there should be a proper type. Don't perform type coercion internally. I want the writer or the coder to mention proper types. Otherwise, don't perform the operation. So guys, that's why you have triple equal to and not double equal to. Because for normal double equal to, a string and a number can also be compared because of type coercion. But if you use triple equal to, only if the data type of both the variables are same, then the comparison is possible. Otherwise, not possible. Even if it is type coercion, no, not allowed. Only if both are numbers, then possible. Okay. So guys, I hope it's cleared. So double equal to is also for comparison. Triple equal to is also for comparison. But in double equal to, type coercion happens. That's why a number and a string can be compared. In triple equal to, that doesn't happen. That's why a number and string cannot be compared. Only if both are numbers or only if both are strings, then it's possible. And guys, single equal to is used for assignment, right? You're using it to assign values, assigning 2 to num1, assigning 2 to num2. So single equal to is an assignment operator, guys. It's one more category. It's one more category of binary operators, which you call as assignment operators, guys. Assignment operators. These operators are basically used for assigning values to variables. Okay, and equal to is one example of that. You're using it to assign values to variables. You can see here, right? And why it's binary operator? Because this is the first operand and this is the second operand. Okay, guys, yeah, this is called as an identity operator, not identical, identity. This is called as an identity operator, guys. This triple equal to and not double equal to. They are called as identity operators. Okay. Now, guys, one last category of binary operators before we move ahead with something else. Okay. That will be what you call as. And guys, if you want to dig deep about these operators, we have all mentioned this with a description in the notes. So you can go ahead there and check it out completely. Okay. So guys, let's go. The next category that we are focusing on is the category of logical operators, everyone. So let's go. So now guys, the examples of logical operators are and. I'm writing it twice, but it is called as and, guys. So even though we are mentioning and, it's called as and. Okay. And then you have this, which you call as or the pipeline operator. But this represents or. And then you have exclamation, which tells it is not. Exclamation means not. So guys, these three are the operators which come under the category of logical operators. Okay, everyone. I hope you're understanding that. Now, let me give an example. Now, I hope that everyone here or all of us have learned something called as logic or truth table in maths, right? You might have heard, right, guys? True and true is true. True or false is true. True and false is false. That means for and, both should be true. Then only it goes true. For or, even if one is true, everything is true. Right? So you know, right, guys, this truth table logic that we have learned in maths. Okay. So this is the exact same thing. Okay, this is the exact same thing. Now let me show you. If I go and do console.log and if I do true, see guys, please focus everyone, and true. See what it does. It will give me back true. So guys, it considers this as the whole operation. Like, okay, this is true. Now this true, guys, I'm writing it directly right now, but this true can be also output of some relational operation. For example, like this, 2 equal to 2. And here I put 3 greater than 1. Now guys, tell me, is this operation correct? Yes, 2 equal to 2. That relational operator is correct. So it will give me true. And this operation will also give me true. So this operation is true and this operation is also true. So true and true, the whole equation, the whole thing will give me what? Finally, true. Right? But if one of them is false, for example, I put 3 less than 1. Now I know 2 equals to 2 will give me true. And 3 less than 1 will give me false because that's not a correct operation. That's not a correct comparison. So now the whole equation will become false. Because guys, for the case of AND, both the operations, both sides, we should get true. If anything is false, the whole thing becomes false. Guys, that's what happens with AND. I hope it's clear, guys. So what I'm trying to tell you is, here we just need some kind of, Boolean. Now you can directly write it, or it can be you're writing a comparison which is giving you the Boolean. It's up to you. Here we can also write the variable num1 equal to num2. So now guys, see, we have two operations, right? So num1 and num2 both are 2. So guys, tell me, what will this give me? Num1 equal to num2? True, because yes, both are equal. And 3 less than 1, false. So true and false. The whole thing will give me false. See? So guys, that's what AND is. Okay. It is basically used. Now, technically, where is it used? It is mainly used when you have multiple comparisons and you want to evaluate them as one. So you have one comparison, you have second comparison. A equals B and B equals C. And you want to evaluate both the comparison that both should give true. Then you can use the AND in between. True and true. So guys, remember, whenever you have multiple comparisons and you want to evaluate that as a whole, in that case, you will always go for this logical operations. So now in this case, I'm going with AND. Same guys. Here I can also use OR. Now in OR's case, what does OR say? That if anything is true, the whole thing becomes true. So now we know that this will give me true, but I know that this will give me false. But in this case, guys, this will give us true or false. So true or false should give us true because it's OR operations. So anything is true, the whole thing becomes true. So now the whole equation will become true in this case. So now if I just go back and here we go, true. So guys, I really hope it's cleared as of now. And finally, you have the third operator, which is not, which works like a negation. For example, see, if I go ahead and do something like this. Let's say I write num1 equals num2. So now I know that this is going to give me true, right? Single operation. And by reading this logic, if you see here, num1 and num2 both are 2. So by reading this logic, this operation should give me true, right? True. But if I just put a not in front of it, so true but not, that means not true. So whatever is not true, see guys, that exclamation means not. So not, see, this is not, and this thing is giving me true. So I'm basically saying not true, and whatever is not true is false. That's why now you'll get false. And whatever is not false will give you true. That's how simple it is, everyone. So that not is like a negation. Not true, so false. Not false, so true. Only two things, nothing else. Okay. So guys, I really hope all these binary operators are clear to you, everyone. Guys, hopefully all these binary operators are cleared. Please, can you confirm that, guys? Okay, all the binary operators, arithmetic for basic calculation, relational for comparing two data, and it will always give you true and false. Then you have identity, which gives you better power, better control over the comparison. Okay, so that type coercion doesn't give you any problem. Then you have assignment operator, which I have only mentioned equal to, but there are some more which I want you guys to look at. So go in the documents and look about some more assignment operators, guys. I've only told you about the one that is equal to. Okay, and then after that we have seen the logical ones which are important. Okay, now then guys, after this, let's move ahead to the next category, which is going to be the unary, which only work with. Guys, I really hope we are clear with this, guys. Everyone, please confirm. Now then, guys, let's move ahead to the next category, which is what you call as unary operator. Okay. Now there are only two operators here which are available, which you call as plus plus and minus minus. So guys, these are the two main operators available here, plus plus and minus minus. So now let's go and let's talk about them quickly. They're very easy, guys. So guys, this plus plus is called as increment operator, and this minus minus is called as decrement operator. Okay guys, these are the two names, increment and decrement. Increment means increase, decrement means decrease. Okay, that's how simple it is, guys. Increment means increase. So what they do is, let me show you. So if I have a variable like, let's say, let n equals 34. Okay. I have a variable n which is equal to 34. So now I have a variable n equals 34. And now if I do n plus plus, now as I said guys, plus plus is a unary operator. That means it only works with one operand. You can see, right? There's only one operand, n. We don't have any other operand here. We don't have any other value here. Only one value. Now what this n plus plus will do? Let's see that. So let's log the n after n plus plus. So if I go ahead and put n here, you'll see 35. So when I created n, it was 34, but when I did plus plus, it increased my value by 1. It increased the value of n by 1, and that's what plus plus does, guys. It simply increases the value of the variable by 1. That's all. Okay, and in the same case, if I do minus minus, it will decrease the value of 34 by 1. So 34, then n minus minus, so it should become 33. And here we go. See that? So guys, that's what they do. And that's why they are called as unary operator, because they only work with one operand. And their main job is to either increase the value by 1 or decrease the value of 1. Guys, are you enjoying the session? If you are, don't forget to like the video, guys, because that is what, motivates me and our team to come up with this video. So you got the idea of plus plus minus minus. And again, guys, if you want to know a little more about them, again, the documentation link is pinned in the chat. Just go in your chat. A documentation link is pinned. Just open that link, and there it is mentioned all the topics. Just go on the documentation, go on the operator section, unary operator, and you will see these operators. We have mentioned all the new examples. Everything is mentioned there. Okay, so please guys, don't forget that. Okay, cool. Now then, let's move ahead. Okay, everyone. Okay, now guys, see, everyone, please focus. Okay, now here I did n plus plus, and that is what you will normally do. But sometimes you can also do plus plus n. But if I just show you the output, you will see that the output is same. It's still incrementing. So what's the difference? So guys, now I want to show you that as well. So let's do one thing, guys. Let me create a variable called as a, and let me do n plus plus in that. Now please focus, everyone. When you put plus plus after the variable, that is what we call as post increment. Now see what you're doing. You're assigning value of n, which is 34, to a, but you're also performing plus plus. Because you're doing post increment, first this operation will be performed. So the value of n, which was 34, it will be passed to a, and then plus plus will happen, and n will become 35. So when you print both of them, a and n, so a comma n, you will see a is still 34, but n has become 35. So guys, when you perform post increment, guys, only if you're performing this big operation. See, normally if you perform post or pre, doesn't matter. Normally it doesn't matter if you're just writing it as a single variable. But if you're also performing operation while performing increment. So guys, in this case, the assignment of n, which was 34, is done to a. So a becomes 34, but then n plus plus happens, and then n becomes 35. But if I do, instead of post increment, if I do pre increment, now in pre increment, guys, the high priority is given to the increment. So first increment. So 34 will be incremented to 35, and then it will be assigned to a. And now after this operation, both should be 35. Is that clear, guys? So that's what it is. See, normally if you're doing this much only, n plus plus or plus plus n, then it doesn't matter, because at the end it's all increment. But if you're using this increment logic in an operation like this, where you're also assigning it to some variable, in that case, guys, if it is post, so operation will happen first and then increment will happen. If it is pre, increment will happen first and then assignment will happen. And same goes for decrement as well. Okay. So now then, guys, let's move ahead. Now we are not directly moving on to ternary operators, because I want to teach you something first, and then only we'll move on to ternary operators. Okay, everyone. Which is going to be one of the most important topics in JavaScript or in any programming language that you learn. Okay. And before conditional statement, guys, I want to go with that topic. Sorry, before ternary operators, I want to go with that topic. And guys, the next topic that we are learning here is what you call as conditional statements. Okay. Very important topic. Now, guys, first of all, before we move ahead, what is the meaning of conditional statements? So now, guys, you have to understand one thing, that in programming, a lot of times, and not a lot, guys, thousands, lakhs of times in your programming. That means a lot of times you want to execute code based on some condition. And guys, condition means it can be anything. Like for example, let me give an example. If you go online, like on, let's say, flipkart.com or something like that, and if you click on cart, you can't go on cart. But if you log in and then click on cart, then you can go on cart. That means the operation of letting you to go in the cart section of the web page, first it checks if you are logged in or not. So that's a condition. If you're logged in, then go to the cart. If you're not logged in, you can't go to the cart. Same, right? That's the base operation. Same thing happens, like, in a lot of applications. Not only, this is just one example, guys. There are a lot of operations. For example, there are some sites where you can only access it based on your age, right? If you're above 14, then you can access it. Otherwise, you can't access it, right? I hope you understand the point, everyone. So that means these are only few examples, but there are a lot of examples. There are a lot of things that happen into the website where you want to perform some operation based on some conditions. Without that, you don't want to perform operations. Okay. I have given you a few examples, but there are a lot of things that you want to do. For example, sometimes you want to fetch data from internet. In your program, you're writing code to fetch data from internet. But that should be only possible if first you're getting connected to that server, or first you're getting connected to that particular service. So first check if you're getting connected. Only if you're getting connected, then perform the code of fetching data. Otherwise, it's a waste. So guys, again, you want to perform that code only if you're getting connected. So guys, that's the example, everyone. Okay. So now then let's move ahead, everyone, and let's see how to do that. Okay. So guys, just like in English, whenever we want to mention a condition, okay, if this happens, then this should happen. If that happens, if this is true. So that means whenever we want to mention conditions in the English language, we always use the keyword if. Same in programming, guys. Same in programming. If you want to write conditional statements or conditional based logic, you have to use a keyword called as if. Okay, everyone. So now let's move ahead. Okay. So guys, how to write it? Let me give you a basic example. So right now, see, let's say this is some code. Let's say this is some very important NASA code, something like fetch satellite data, something like that. Now I know it's not a very important code. It's simply a print statement, but let's say this is some very important code, and in future, this may be some 1,000 lines of code. Let's say, okay. Right now, if you just go ahead, you'll see it's already working. It is already working, right? This code is directly working, but I don't want this. I want that. Let's have a variable like let's say connection equals 3. Now what I want, that only if this connection variable is 5, only if connections variable's value is 5, then you should perform this code. Otherwise, don't perform this code. So how are we going to do that? Very simple, guys. You'll use the if keyword. If, then in the brackets, in the rounded brackets, or they are also called as parentheses. Rounded brackets, guys, they are also called as parentheses. Inside that, you can put your comparison. And guys, we have already learned, right, how to create comparisons. We can use the relational operators to put comparison, right, to create comparison of data. And we want to do that only if connection's value is 5. So I'll go and I'll write if connection, and guys, how do you check if it is equal to 5? We have learned, right, equal to 5, or to, in a better sense, it should be triple equal to, so that, you know, that number issue also doesn't happen. So now if, now guys, we know, right, this is a comparison, and comparison with relational operators, when you use relational operators and perform comparison, we know that it's only going to give you two outputs, either true or false, nothing else. So now you're saying if this comparison gives true, then you'll create a block, an area of code, and you'll put this code in there. And now see, guys, now this block of code, and now here, guys, you can also write thousands of lines of code. Now this block of code will only work if this comparison will give you true. And guys, this whole thing is considered as condition. Why condition? Because now this code is dependent on this. That's why it's called as a condition. But you know that this is nothing but comparison of data. So guys, nothing. Comparison of data is only condition, right? Comparison of data is what we call as condition. Only when something depends on it, it becomes a condition. But normally, it is just comparison of data. So now you'll see, guys, that code will not work normally. See, now there's no output because my connection value is 3 and I'm checking if connection is equal to 5. No, 3 is not equal to 5. And that's why this code is not executing. But if I make it 5, see now it's working. So now guys, I have some code which is only working if some condition is true. Otherwise it's not working. So guys, now we know, right? And just like that guys, in future, this can be anything. If login is true, if login is there, if username and password are correct, it can be anything guys. It can be literally anything. Okay. I hope you're understanding that everyone. Okay. I really hope it's cleared everyone. But now here's an issue. Here I can execute code only if my condition is true. What if I also want to execute some code if my condition is false? Now sometimes we think that okay, in that case you can simply go ahead and write some code outside like console.log, let's say some code, something like that. Now guys, see, this thing is written outside. That means it's not dependent on anything. Now guys, how this whole program will work? First, program will think, oh, there's a variable connection, it's having a value of 5. So let's create that. Good. Then check this condition. If it's correct, go inside, execute the code. If it's incorrect, don't go inside. Simply skip this block and move ahead. So guys, what happens, you have to understand. If this condition is correct, it will go inside, execute this code, and then it will move ahead and execute whatever is after that. If this condition is incorrect, it will simply skip this whole block, don't even execute, skip this whole block and simply move ahead. So whatever I'm writing outside, that means it will always execute. See, my condition is correct. So this is also printing, but this is also printing because it's outside. Even if my condition is false, for example, let's say I make this 3. And even if it is false, you will see, now this line of code, this block is getting skipped, but this code is still executing because it's outside. So this is not the correct way because whatever you put outside, it will always execute. Okay, so in this case, guys, if you want to execute some code when only the condition is false, for that, guys, you have to use a keyword called as else. And whatever code you write in the else block will only work if the condition is false. So for example, let's say I write console.log, don't fetch data. You have println, print for printing it on the console. Here you have log, not print. Okay. So now guys, see, in this case, now see, if I write some code outside here, let's say console.log, some code outside. Now, you know, right? See now guys, what will happen? You have a variable. If this condition is correct, go inside, execute this block, and it will skip the else. So guys, else will be skipped if the condition is correct. Okay, always remember that. Else will be skipped if the condition is correct. So now, if this condition is correct, execute this block, skip else, and then move forward with anything that you have. If this condition is false, skip the if block and execute whatever is written inside the else, and then move forward. That means whatever is outside will be executed. So now let's test it. And you can see now, this is definitely going to come because it's outside. But now you can see, don't fetch data. Right, everyone? I hope that you're understanding this. And so now, because my condition is false, but if I make it true, so let's just, make this 5, something like that. Now it will be true. We know that. So now you can see fetch data, but whatever is outside, it's executing. Okay. So guys, I really hope that you are cleared with this basic if and else statement, everyone. Because now we are going to talk about multiple conditions. Here we have only one condition. If it is true, do this. If it is false, do this. What if we have multiple conditions? So guys, please tell me. I hope you're understanding, everyone. Just give me some yes in the chat, everyone. Let's move ahead and let's talk about a statement where we might have multiple conditions. For example, let's put this example, comment this example, and let's take an example where we might have multiple conditions. What if we have multiple conditions and we want to work with them? For example, let's say we have something like a percentage. Let's say there's some college, we calculate marks and we got a percentage of 67, something like this. Now, based on the percentage, I want to print grade for a student. Okay, simple example. So I want this, if the percentage is greater than 70, I want to give O grade. If the percentage is greater than 60, I want to give A grade. If it is greater than 50, I want to put, let's say, B grade, something like that. If it is greater than 40, C grade. And if it is less than 40, then fail. So let's say I want to do something like this. So in that case, guys, you have multiple conditions. And the best part here is you have multiple conditions, but only one of them will be correct, not all of them. That means there is no need to check all of them. If one of them is correct, I don't even want to execute any other things. So for that, guys, you can write it like this. If percentage is greater than 70, or let's say greater than equal to 70. So I want to log or print, according to my idea, O grade. Right, everyone? Now, I want to write one more condition. Now, guys, in one more condition, see, please focus. If I write if, now I want you guys to know the drawbacks of this as well. If I write one more if, now guys, see, always remember, if you write two ifs, they are considered as two different statements, and program will also execute this and it will also execute this. Even if it is not correct, it will still be executed. It will still check the condition at least. It will still check the condition, and that will take some CPU cycle. It will take a little more time to check, right? That's why, guys, if we know that we have multiple conditions and only one is going to be true, then we always use else if, because when you use else if, it is considered as a single block. All of them are considered as a single statement. This whole thing is a single statement, guys. If I use one more if, like separate if, then this is a different statement and this is a different statement. It will still work, but it will take time because it's also executing both of them. But that's why, guys, if you know that you have multiple conditions and they belong to a single statement and only one of them is going to be correct, always go for else if. And now here I can just go and, put percentage greater than 60 or greater than equal to 60. So it should be console.log A grade, something like that. And same, one more condition. So else if percentage greater than equal to 50. And now, guys, let's only go till 50. Okay, hopefully. Let's not go till that much, all that stuff. So console.log, let's give it B grade here. Okay, so B grade. And then finally, you can also have an else. If all the conditions go false, then you can have an else in which you can put console.log fail. And see, now you have a very simple application. And guys, the best part is JavaScript considers, or the programming language considers, all these as a single statement. Now here what will happen? See, this will happen here. See, guys, please focus, everyone. This will happen here. If this condition is correct, this block will be executed and all the other things will not be even executed. They will not be even touched. So we won't be, just using extra memory because we know only one condition is going to be correct. If this is not correct, then it will move to the next condition. It will skip this block. If this is not correct, it will skip this block and then it will move to the next condition. Now, if this is correct, it will execute this block of code and it will skip the other things. That means it will only execute the extra part, the other part, if the condition is incorrect. If it is correct, that block will be executed and all the other things will be skipped. So guys, that's the reason we are using this if else if statement. This logic is what you call as multiple if statement. So some people call it as multiple if, some people call it as if else if, some people call it as if else if ladder. Doesn't matter whatever you call it. I normally call it as multiple if because that's how I have learned it. Okay. No, semicolon is not mandatory in JS. Anjali, no, semicolon is not compulsory. Here you can also work without semicolon. But as a good programmer, I always try to put semicolon here because when I work with other languages, I don't want to hamper my habit of putting semicolons. That's why I always use semicolons. Now, guys, in this case, if I test this code, you will see A grade. Nice, right? Because our percentage is 67. And if I go and, write, let's say, here, if I go and put 77, we know what's going to happen, right, everyone? We know that now I'll get O grade because my percentage is greater than 70. But guys, this whole program is not correct yet. This is not good. It looks good. It will work completely fine, but it's logically incorrect. Because see, guys, if I have mentioned all my conditions correctly, this should also work. If I do this, see, if I put 60 condition on top and 70 condition on bottom. Okay, see now, guys, please focus, everyone. If I put 60 condition on top and 70 condition on bottom, now see what will happen. Now I'll get A grade. Even if I got 77% and I know according to the logic I should get O grade because if percentage is greater than 70, I should get O grade. But I'm still getting A grade because of the sequence. Because guys, the execution starts from here. So first it checks. Check if 77 is greater than equal to 60? Yes, it is. So print A grade and skip everything else. And guys, that's a problem. Even though my conditions are correct, technically the program is correct, but logically it's incorrect. Getting my point, everyone? That means I have to write it in proper sequence. If I don't write it in sequence, then the program is incorrect. But that should not happen. If I'm mentioning proper conditions, the sequence should not bother me. And guys, that's the problem here. This program is not perfect. So to make it perfect, what I can do is, now I can use the logical operators. So I can write, no, if it is greater than 60, A grade, but at the same time, and. So guys, remember guys, when you want to put multiple conditions and evaluate that as one, then you should use and or. In this case, I'm using and because I want both to be true. So and at the same time, percentage should be less than 70. That means if it is greater than 60 and at the same time, if it is less than 70, then only A grade. And same here, if it is greater than equal to 70 and percentage at the same time is less than equal to 100, then O grade. At the same time, if it is greater than equal to 50 and percentage is less than 60, then B grade. Now, even if whatever sequence I have, it doesn't matter. Now you will see I get O grade, even though it's my second condition. So now guys, what's happening here? Okay, you have 77, good. Now check, is 77 greater than equal to 60? Yes. So this gives me true. And is 77 less than 70? No, this gives me false. So true and false. So if true and false, the whole thing becomes false. And that's why this block is skipped. So for if, this whole thing is giving false, and that's why it moves ahead. And now here checks. Check if 77 is greater than equal to 70? Yes. And is 77 less than 100? Yes. So now this whole things are true. So both of them are true. So the whole thing becomes true and you get O grade. Is that clear, everyone? Guys? Okay, everyone. I hope you got the idea here. Guys, I really hope you got the whole idea here. Okay? Okay, cool. Now guys, one last thing that I want to teach you for today is not going to be switch. Switch I'll be continuing by tomorrow. Tomorrow as you come, initially we'll just directly go ahead and start with switch statement. So guys, let's go everyone. Let's go. So now let's have a variable like this. Let n equals, but now it is inside a string. So now if you see this n is a string. Now what if you want to convert it to a number? Because you know, right, when you perform addition, like if I just go ahead and do console.log 2 plus n, you know what you're going to get, right? You're going to get 223. Correct, everyone? Because 2 plus string 23 gives you 223. But I want to perform addition. And for that, guys, we need to convert this n, that is a string, to a number. So for that, guys, you can do typecasting. And to do that, just go into that n and just use a number function. Use a number function and put this n inside that. That's all, guys. So now this n will be converted to a number by using this number function or number constructor. So now 2 plus whatever is this number n is giving you. So guys, this number function is what converts a string looking number to an actual number. And now if you just see, you have proper addition of 25. So 2 plus 23 is 25. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you're understanding that. And same if you want to do the opposite. For example, let's say if a variable a and that is a number, let's say 34. Okay, and if I print it, you will see console.log a. And if you see now, guys, see a is a number, it's 34. That's why I can see it's getting printed in blue. But now if I go ahead and use a function called as toString, so number, whatever number you have, dot toString will easily convert it to a string. Now I can see, okay, and now it will give us some output. So I think we can also go for string, or we can also go for, okay, let's see if it is not converting it in that way. ToString, yes. And now I'll see it's looking in black. I forgot that brackets, guys. I forgot those brackets. Okay, now I can see it's coming like this. So now even if I do this, right, 2 plus, so now I'll see you're not going to get 2 plus 34, which will be 36. You will get something like this, 234. Because now it's concatenating, because you have converted a, which was a number initially, to a string. So guys, whenever you want to convert a string to a number, you can always go for the number function number, and then inside the bracket pass the number that you want, pass the string that you want to convert to number, and the opposite is just use the number dot to string. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, I hope it's cleared. We have covered about all the operators, and we have also covered, and I know for some people who already know JavaScript, for you it might be a little slow, but guys, trust me, there are a lot of people who are completely new here, who are beginning their journey here with JavaScript. So what we want as Let's Upgrade is so that everyone understands everything that I'm teaching. So guys, we have to go with that concept. So everyone has to understand all the operators and everything. Okay. So guys, I hope it's cleared. I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and please also don't forget to like the video. That motivates me and us as a whole team. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Okay. So yep, guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you'll be there tomorrow, because guys, tomorrow, again, very important day. We'll be starting with switch case, completing the whole conditional statement, and then we'll move on to loops, one of the very important things, and then we'll move on to array, and then finally, we will be moving on to objects. So these are the 4 topics for tomorrow, guys. Now, see, I'm mentioning it here only. 4 main topics for tomorrow. We have to go till objects and also functions. So yeah, 5 topics. Switch case first, very easy. Then loops. Then you will go for arrays, then objects, and then functions. These are the 5 main topics for tomorrow that we are going to be covering. So please don't forget to be there, guys. 5 main topics. And okay. So yeah, guys, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye. I'm very excited for tomorrow's session. See you there. Bye-bye, everyone. Good night. Good night, guys.